All right, I'm going to begin by just sharing my screen. Right. And as we go through this, feel free again to collaborate. We're going to do our very best again to stay within that 45-minute time frame that we have. And while we're going through this, just keep in mind that, you know, this is not going to be over at the end of the webinar. This is being recorded. This is something that's actually on demand that you can go back to and watch. And I will be following up with everybody that registered with the content. So as well as all of the links and information that's going to be shared here tonight, because I think that will be important for you to know that it won't be just disappearing after the webinar. So you'll have access to it again. So tonight we're meeting about a topic that I think, you know, it's been on my mind for, you know, a little while, because you are, you know, you find yourself really passionate about immersive technology, and you find yourself sharing out resources nonstop all the time. But then when you find out how some of the approaches people are taking, one, you know, just safety wise and concerns about that, but then also people are just only aware of what they hear in marketing, right? So whatever has the big budgets and the things that are being shared out the most are the only ones people are aware of. So because of that, it makes it sometimes problematic to know what are the best resources. So as we go through tonight and just really talk about the young learners, that's our focus. And if that does not just apply to you as a teacher, hopefully it applies to you. If you have young children, bring them over, let them see this stuff, let them participate with you, or even just sharing this out with some of the teachers that you may know that really can benefit from this. So we're going to be sharing some stories, we're going to share some resources, and some ideas here for you to run with, and you're going to be able to walk away with some free stuff, which is pretty awesome. I mean, it's always fun to share those kind of things in a webinar. You know, you get free stuff. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, really honing in on the AR and VR for our young learners, and specifically tied in to disruptED. So if you did not have a chance to download the app, I'll give you a chance to go in and see that, and give you a chance to download. If you already have it downloaded, make sure to delete that right now, and I'm going to have you reinstall, like literally within hours ago. So it's going to be really cool. So I'll start off first. I'm Jamie Donnelly, joining you from Texas, as some of you are also joining in as well. And I'm actually in East Texas, northern East Texas, in between Dallas and Shreveport. And it is, you know, just like the rest of the country, this is an interesting time to live. It's an interesting time to be in this field of sharing and immersive technology. And I just want to commend you all for joining in, because there are a million things on your mind right now. And I know that sometimes you got to prioritize what you're looking for. And those of you that have joined in, you guys are the go-getters in this immersive technology world. And I think that is something that is promising, not just for you, but for so many others too, because while you're taking the time to do this right now and go through all of this content, it's just really exciting to see that you've dedicated your time to learning these tools, and that you go out and share. Because I've seen more often than not, I see you joining in these webinars and you being the ones that go out and share with others. So it's really exciting. So I'm gonna let Kate take it away. Oh, Kate, do you want to go ahead and unmute?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm Kate Pyler, CEO of disruptED, and we are excited to be creating augmented reality, virtual reality learning tools for kids in the pre-K through third grade age range. There's not a whole lot out there for this age range, and not a lot of companies that give a choice between AR and VR. So we're super excited having our books out, and also debuting a portion of a new book, a preview, a sneak peek of our new book, which has to do with COVID, called Be Safe, and it talks about the science and the safety and the social emotional things and challenges that come up.
Okay, Kate, don't talk too much about that. That's a secret.
True. Sorry.
I'm the one that's not good with secrets, Kate. You're supposed to be better with that. Come on.
I'm sorry. But yeah, we're creating some wonderful stuff and we've seen teachers be very, very excited, parents very, very excited, and of course, kids super excited about learning with our tools.
Absolutely. And Kate and I have been connected now for over a year, maybe a year and a half.
I think it's
2 years. I'm
years,
thinking, oh my gosh, when's the last time I went to that conference in Boston? It's been a couple of years. Yeah. So we've been connected for a little while. And I know Will's going to be in the background, just being the social media / Q&A-er / responder in the background. But Will, do you want to share yourself and share a little bit about what you do with disruptED?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Will McCoy. I'm this Chief Learning Officer for disruptED. 20 plus years in education. Kate and I have known each other for almost a decade now. We feel like we were a little bit separated at birth just because of all the ideas that we share and the excitement for the work. We brought this company together about 8 years ago. Incredibly proud to bring you everything that we've put together. And you're going to really like what you have to see tonight with Be Safe. We're excited to share it with you.
Very cool. Thank you, Will. All right. So I also want to make sure that everybody's aware that the reason why we're doing this webinar is because the incredible people over at Starlight reached out and said, hey, Jamie, we would love for you to share some content. They specifically asked for young students as well, which perfectly lined up with disruptED, and really was just interested in sharing out, what could be done for our parents, what could be done for educators out there, what can we do inside of the hospitals. So just so you're aware, and you might even notice, I got their shirt yesterday, which was really cool. Actually, I think I got it on Sunday, which was so weird. I'm like, people deliver stuff on Sundays? Like, I didn't even know that existed. So Starlight made it happen. But I also got these really cool stickers, and what they have done is recognizing that they depend on people to make their products really accessible in hospitals for seriously ill for children. And they've really come up with a creative approach at helping kids deal with what they're going through in the hospitals and making it a little less tragic, make it a little less hard for them, and really came up with some creative ways of using technology. One of which I'm super pumped about, and that is virtual reality. And they have come up with ways of making that even children that have gone through, different procedures where they've been able to either take them off or lower their dosage of certain meds and even sedation because they're so occupied in doing what they're doing in virtual reality. It's such a powerful way of using an incredible tool like AR and VR and impacting directly kids' lives. So I think that they're phenomenal. I mean, from the get-go, I was like, oh, I don't know. And talked to Kate, and Kate and I were like, yes, let's do a session together there. Let's do that for these kids. And I'll be sharing, as you can see here, that you can go to that link and check them out and learn how to support them. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to share for such an amazing organization that's really actually across the world. It's not just the US. So very cool to be a part of it. And for Kate and Will to join me as well. So, all right. I'm going to move some of my pages around here because it's all hiding the things that I have on here. Whoop. Okay. First things first, we do have our Q&A open like I mentioned before. And in that Q&A, you can go ahead and ask any questions that you might have. So Will is going to be in the background. Kate might be checking that out as well. There's going to be times where you might have questions for them specifically, or if you have questions for me, feel free to put that in there and you guys can just leave it there and then I'll address it here at the end. Or Kate will address it if it's something specifically that you guys want to address that would be a little bit easier to address rather than typing and responding, maybe just sharing that. So we'll make sure to give a few seconds there at the end to go through some of those Q&As as much as we can. And next, this is the best part. I'm sorry. This is the part I'm really pumped about because I talked to Kate and I talked to Will and I said, hey, you know, at these webinars, people love to post what they're learning, and, you know, they use social media. Typically, we're all connected on Twitter. And so, and if you've been to any of my other webinars, you're going to kind of find this is like probably my normal, because you don't just keep it in and keep it to yourself. You guys are sharers, and we're giving you a chance to share on social media using the hashtag ARVRINEDU. And many of you know that this has actually taken place of the ARVR and EDU chat that happens every Wednesday evening from 8 to 8:30. So perfect timing for this. We want to see how you can inspire others from what you're doing tonight. So as you're joining in and participating in some of this, we also want to see those inspiring ideas. What did you walk away with? What are your aha moments tonight? And during that time, Kate and will be checking out social media. And then Will, I shared this with Kate earlier, but we are going to be, if you can, there at the end, just collect those links on Twitter when you can share out the link to the actual tweet. And then I would love for you to post those in the chat. And we're, you know, not even me. This is totally, you guys are going to be giving away, and I'll let Kate talk about that. Okay, I can talk about it. We're going to be giving away some sets here for you guys that actually include a lot of the products that you're going to see tonight. And you're going to also have a chance to even download some free stuff tonight, no matter what. But they're giving away 5 of those sets, getting it out to you and sharing this product with 5 people that are going to be posting out there tonight, sharing your ideas and the things you're learning and doing while we're doing the webinar. So make sure to get out those posts. Make sure to include in your post hashtag ARVRINEDU. Makes it really easy for us to search in that area on Twitter, and it's certainly part of the community. So now you can get connected to those in the community, and it is just a way for you to be able to share out beyond just yourself, but how can you inspire other people? So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about those sets a little bit more as we get to the prizes. So wait to the end, because that's when we're going to be going through those prizes. All right, if I mentioned this earlier, but if you're joining in a little bit later and you haven't had a chance to download the app, if you've never downloaded disruptED, go for it right now. I just want to give you a heads up that the Google Play app is still in process. It was just updated a week ago. They just pushed out a release literally today, came out on the App Store. As a matter of fact, I called Kate and I was like, is it in? Is it in? Is it in? And she's like, it's in. So we cheered a little bit, and some of those updates.
It's in the Apple Store. It's not in the Google, the new one is not in the Google Play yet. Yep. We're waiting. It's like, I keep pressing refresh to
yeah.
see that it's up in the store, but it should be up in the store in the next 24 to 48 hours.
That current update, but it is in the store. It's available for them to check out, because some of the stuff that we're going to be doing tonight should be pretty accessible regardless. But this is a way for you to be able to check some of that out. And those updates, again, will be coming very soon. So if something is not on there tonight for you, because you're an Android user, just know it is coming very soon. And it's an exciting time. All right. So, looking at what we're going to be doing, I just want to give you a heads up on how this works. And I'm just going to go ahead and, Kate, I'm going to mute you. And then I'm also going to turn off you and Will's screen. Actually, if you don't mind just turning off your screen, because it's going to cover up some of the page as I'm recording this. That way they can see the full screen on here. Perfect. All right. As we're going through this, the 2 areas that we're going to be checking out, actually there's even more to it, but we're going to specifically hone in on the AR and VR. And we'll start off with looking at some of the virtual reality. And there's sample sheets that are provided by disruptED on their website. And I'll be giving you that link on how to get connected to them here at the end. But on that sample sheet, you'll be able to check that out. But tonight, we're also going to be placing that sample sheet on here so that you'll be able to see it on your phone. So hopefully you're watching this webinar right now on your computer, and you also have your phone ready to be able to scan some of these pages as we go through. The first part of this is you're going to join in, and you're going to hear some fun music and lots of great colors. And you're going to see some of the books that are available to you. And then we'll be talking through which book you'll be checking out. You'll select a book, and then it's going to ask you which option do you want to look at it, which is step 2. Do you want to do AR, VR? Do you want to do e-reader? So there's some great advantages to that. And this being a free app and having access to that, that's just amazing to have your kids join in regardless. And then step 3 is selecting what kind of audio that you want to have. And then we're going to go into a little bit more depth, but that is a huge plus in this app, as well as selecting whether or not you want to be in a split screen mode, so putting it into a viewer, or being in a 360 view, which is the full screen mode, and being able to look around with you with the device and without a headset. And then the last step we're going to do is rotate the device as we're looking into it in a 360 view. So then, let's see. All right, and the AR view that we're going to be looking at is selecting the book and then going into the AR, and then we're also going to have it read to us. We're going to select the audio turned on, and we're also going to have some of those pages ready to go and available to us on the screen. And then you're going to be able to play some of those activities available. So 2 really cool ways of exploring, and we'll kind of talk a little bit more about why that is. I also want to just point out that some of the topics that I'm talking about tonight are also coming from an article that I posted with EdSurge, and it's on how to effectively use AR VR with young learners. And of course, disruptED was included in that, as well as some other tools. So that is a way for you to go back and really read kind of more of the depth of why those areas are important with our young learners and using immersive technology. So the first really core area is safety. And that is probably my biggest concern when I'm talking to districts and they're utilizing certain tools or they have plans to use certain things, but it's really not intended for our young kids. And oftentimes with immersive technology, because it's so new, we just jump in. It's exciting, it's fun. We haven't really thought through, kind of strategize the safety of where we're going to use this, what we're going to do, and what age group we're dealing with. And sometimes we're pushing tools that are really intended maybe for 13 and above, even legally intended for those age groups. And we're pushing it for our littles because 1, we may not be aware, we may not even understand that that wasn't intended for that age group. But 2 is because we're really excited about it, and it just, you're just not really processing the ramifications of using something like that. And what I really love about disruptED is the way that they approach their immersive technology with the little kids, because when we're talking about our young students and the brains and how they're using some of these tools, we really want to make sure that there's a balance. There's a balance in how much time that they're spending. There's a balance in what types of tools they're using. There's a balance between content. Everything that they're going to learn is not going to be in VR. Everything that they learn is not going to be in AR. Everything that they learn is not going to be in a book, right? It really is about the balance of how you're presenting the material. And I think that is just such an amazing way that Kate has brought together on the VR headsets. It's really been a progression. I've been able to see kind of the first VR headsets that were going out that were white, and then it came out printed with some really fun colors that aligned with their stuff. So Kate, do you want to kind of share why did you bring out headsets, and why was that important to you?
Yeah, we wanted to do this app in mobile for sure. We wanted to be accessible by as many people as possible, and we thought cardboard was the best way to allow that to happen, for more people to be able to access it. And we also thought that with our headsets, we wanted to be able to provide so the lenses that can be moved, so that children that have some vision problems like I do can make adjustments for themselves without their glasses on or with their glasses on. So it was just real important for us to make it as accessible as possible. And the fact that you can take it off your eyes very, very quick, easily, and that our experiences are rather short. So you're not hanging out in a headset for a very long time. So that was kind of everything we put into the design of this age group that we're addressing, and the fact that we wanted as many people as possible to be able to start using immersive learning tools.
Yeah, and what's important to kind of point out too is the type of material it's made of, that you can wipe that down. Definitely the lenses. That is something, especially having multiple different VR headsets to, you know, compare and contrast. And one of the things that I think is really important to me is that, you know, for my daughter, who's 11, my youngest, she really likes the lenses out, whereas for me, I really like the lenses in. And I noticed that both of us are always going back and forth and adjusting how that lens looks for us. So being able to be flexible and accessible for all of our students and the way that they are using these tools, I think is important. I do want to point out that this is something you probably don't want to have with all your kids using for one headset. So keep that in mind. Because it is really, a lot of these devices are intended for a single user and having access to that. Because if you end up sharing something like this, one is right now, that's just not wise. It's not wise to share CDC's guidelines. We're not even able to share some of our supplies. But I've been saying, you know, speaking about this for quite some time, on, you know, it being around your eyes and your nose and your mouth and your ears, and it's being held with your hand. You know, so all of those areas of concern when you're using tools like this. So really, if it being cardboard makes it so much easier for a single person to have, because they're so much more affordable than buying a bigger headset, more costly headset per person, but also just something to keep in mind as far as the safety goes as well. So this next area, I'm just going to show you the virtual reality view, because when you go in, again, you have your options like we talked about a minute ago. You can go into the AR side, you can go into the VR side, you can go into the ebook side. And I just really just kind of captured briefly what this looks like on the virtual reality side of it. And just wanted to show this to you so that you can get an idea. And then I'm going to ask you to go in and experience it yourself as well. I'm going to go ahead and just play it, and hopefully we'll come through. Can you hear it now? Perfect.
What can I make with a square? A spacesuit. My spacesuit. What can I make with a rectangle?
So on the 360 side,
a rocket ship.
You can see that I'm following it all the way around me. You can see that literally going behind me and around me. Now the pages of the book in here also align with what we're saying.
What can I make with a star? The night sky. Whoa, make a wish.
All right, and I'm going to end it there because I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about what those next steps are. But as you can see, everything in this book already aligns with what they're seeing in virtual reality. So it's not saying, hey, they learned it in VR, they got it. Obviously, that's not at all what disruptED has done. You're going to see that there's quite a bit more to this. So what you're going to do now is, all right, I'm going to give you a chance to go in to Shape Up Pup right now, and you can go into the virtual reality. Make sure to either do a screen capture video or some snapshots of what you're seeing in that VR and that experience, and then go check out these pages, because while you may not have the physical book with you, you do have access to that virtual reality experience of all those pages happening and coming to life all around you. I just love it because, you know, our young students and making those connections with some of these shapes. Kate, do you want to share kind of the vision behind Shape Up Pup?
Yeah, well, I found Ed Heck through a friend of mine. He lives in Brooklyn, and he's an artist. He's a well-known artist, actually, a worldwide known artist. And he lives in Brooklyn, and I met him in his studio, and walking into his studio was like walking into Jim Henson's Muppet studio, and it just felt whimsy and joy all through it. And I saw these books off to the side, and I asked him what was going on with those, and he said he had written those for his children when they were young. And I just put two and two together and said, we can make something about of this for kids and augmented reality, and bring all of these characters to life. And so that's what we set out to do. And Shape Up Pup was our first book.
Yeah, I was going to say, has he ever had any AR or VR before with his content?
Nope.
Very cool. That's awesome. And was Shape Up Pup the first book?
Shape Up Pup was the first book, yes. And obviously, when we're doing these types of things, your first book takes the longest, yeah. And it did. But it was well worth it to get to now our fourth book. So yeah. we're excited, and Ed's our creative director, and we're just excited to be have a great team putting this all together.
Definitely. And you know, sometimes one of the things that we had talked about early on was some of the research being done for students, because sometimes there's this argument, well, which one's better, AR or VR? And it's like, whoa, that's absolutely just, that's not even a question. Like there isn't a better. They have different purposes. There's different ways our students learn. And I remember you specifically talking about just really how the brain functions and absorbing information on VR, and how important that is for some students, and AR being very important for other students, and then the hands-on, and you know, so there being a variety, and VR really hitting home for some of those kids.
Yeah, exactly. They do have distinct benefits to either one, AR and VR. So it's exciting to see children that are disabled able to put a headset on. Granted, not the cardboard, but we have plastic ones too, and read a book by themselves for the first time, and to be able to play the games, the learning games we have inside for the first time. And it's exciting to see special education children as well, and it's speaking their learning language, and they're more, and their parents and their teachers are telling us that they're more engaged and they're more verbal using our tools. And so we're just really excited to see, you know, VR come to life for special needs groups, as well as conventional children, and how they just get excited, and it helps them focus, actually. And then the AR, it's three-dimensional objects coming up, and so all of that information is subliminally being absorbed to increase the comprehension and the retention levels. And so we had a study in at the University of Texas in 6 of their learning labs, and they did some tests with our product, and they had 25% increase in their scores after they used it for a portion of their semester. So it's amazing to see the improvement. It's amazing to see the excitement.
Absolutely. I tell a story about virtual reality when I first started sharing VR years ago, about a student that I had, and that was a first grade student. So I was supporting a first grade teacher that was wanting to bring in some immersive technology. So I went into her classroom and brought in some tools. One of the things she wanted them to do was to go on an adventure with dinosaurs. And so I brought in a headset, and you know, at the time cardboard was it, and also gave the students a chance to go in and basically walk around with the dinosaurs. There's this whole story that kind of comes to life. And I believe it was using YouTube or something, you know, another app. But I put this little guy in here who literally started off clear across the room, and he was jumping around. By the time he finally got to me, I mean, he was just bursting with enthusiasm to finally put this on. And so finally I put him on him, and sure enough, the kid's going like this. He starts walking forward, and I laugh. Oh, you're funny. You know, don't do that again. Stay right here. And a couple seconds later, there he goes again, walking off, following, you know, hands out, and almost running into a chair. And I'm like, hey, no more, dude. You do it again. I got to take this away. And I had to take it away because there he went again and started walking off. So after the fact, I asked him, I said, you know, what did you think of that? He's like, oh, that was amazing. I go, yeah, it was really cool, hon. Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to ride that dinosaur. And I was like, wow, okay. Well, you got quite an imagination. Good thing they're extinct, right? He goes, yeah. So anyways, I'm going to ride that dinosaur. And I go, well, what makes you think that dinosaur is going to let you ride him? I'm like, well, let's roll with this. Let's see what he's talking about. And he said, actually, he was a good dinosaur because he was letting me pet him. So he was actually walking, in his experience, he was walking to those dinosaurs, and those dinosaurs were good dinosaurs because they were letting him pet him, and he was going to ride them. So I think it's just such a powerful way of using this technology to bring in learning. Of course, really, again, going back to the safety aspect of it, really kind of setting up the stage of how to keep your kids safe while they're using these tools. But boy, is it just powerful for them to make real learning connections in what they're doing. All right, you mentioned this a second ago, and I definitely want to just mention that simple interface, how this is self-directed. Those kids in whatever situation that they may be in, whether verbal or nonverbal, maybe even students that are autistic. I've seen really great responses from students that are autistic, very receptive to going into virtual reality, which is kind of a shock. You know, you'd think that would be overstimulation. And then you just have all these really wonderful responses to it. But one of the best parts about, you know, using a tool like disruptED is a student can go in there and they can absolutely be independent. They can learn all of this. They can hear it all read to them. The visuals that are used are incredible because you can absolutely know what you're choosing with the visual cues as you're going throughout the app. And then so hearing it read to you, or not hearing it, maybe you're going to try and test it on your own. Maybe you want to have this new feature called Sing to Me for a sing-along that just came out with one of the products we'll talk about in a sneak peek here in a second. And so being able to go into the app and actually have those choices and those visuals to be able to tie back to it. So looking at, you know, kind of what this means and giving you a chance. This is the augmented reality, and this is just an example of ABCDE, the book. And
ABCD Eat by Ed Heck.
We're going to choose the AR book, and we're going to have it read to us. And I'm just doing just the first couple pages on here. So the pages come to life as you hover over. It will open up your camera. And you can tap each of the letters, and each letter comes to life.
Banana.
And you can re-tap some of this stuff, which I like.
Chair. D. Donut.
And so hearing and seeing that come into your world, as opposed to, you know, being in this other place, you're teleported somewhere else. This is something that's actually taken place maybe in your hand. And to be able to see that come to life in your own space makes that different connection for that student, because those are relevant things that you just saw. You could find an apple in your house. You could find a chair sitting there and make those real connections with 3D objects. And I know even as different learners, I know 3D has been a really big concept for my daughter who has this, she has dyslexia. My youngest, and she is, you know, how she learns and understands letters, the fact that those letters raise up in a 3 dimension, for her to be able to look from both perspectives and all the way around is actually how her brain functions, which is why when she's flip-flopping things, she's seeing it in that 3D space. And so being able to make those really powerful connections for our kids in their space, I think is really helpful.
Yeah, I had one woman tell me the other day that her child was dyslexic, and her child was working with it, and she was like, "Oh, the letters don't shake." And you know, it's like
How interesting.
You know, she every time she reads a book, the letters are shaking, but when she sees it in AR, when she sees it in VR, it's not shaking. Very interesting. So I'm going to do some more exploration on that. But it was important for us to know that that there's something going on for different people with dyslexia with the letters and things like that. So it's interesting how it went completely away using our product. So it's very interesting.
That is really cool. I've never heard that before. That is really, really cool. Now it's your chance. you guys have a chance to do the AR right now. This is one of the sample pages from the Monster Opposite books, and super fun. I will tell you my favorite page, and I know Kate already knows which page this is because I use this a lot. I'll do this in my breakouts, by the way. But this is my very favorite page. Now, what you notice is you have a little bit of glare from your books. And whenever you have scannable technology like this, and if you're opening up your Monster Opposite page in the app right now, you're going to want to use your camera and visually see this page here. But when you have the book with you, you lay it down flat, and you want to be aware, just like any augmented reality scannable technology, is that the glare does matter. If you have light directly shining on it and it's creating it actually changes the view of your camera of what that image is, which makes it a little bit more difficult for it to actually scan in that, the barcode, if you will. It's looking for a very specific image to be able to trigger something on top of it. And so when you're looking at some of these pages, you want to keep that in mind, laying it as flat as possible and having that scan. And there is actually some new technology that was implemented literally a week ago within disruptED using something called AR Kit. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here at the end. But AR Kit is even tying in some of those elements that don't require a trigger image per se, maybe to activate an experience, but not required in the same way that you've had augmented reality in the past. So some of the ways that it might read that page is a little bit different than it used to be when it was just trigger-based technology. So hopefully you've been able to see the big and the small. And for me, I love this page because this particular page is I call it the spider, but it could be whatever you want it to be. But in my breakout, they have to identify what comes up underneath and from below with above and below. So I love this book. Kate, I have to say this one is probably my favorite out of all of them. I don't know, was this your last book?
That was our last book, and yeah, I can't pick a favorite. I like them all, and yeah. I am a little partial to the first one because it's a labor of love to get to the first one.
Well, and I was a math teacher, so opposites work really well for the way that I would talk about math with students and helping them identify, positives and negatives, what is the opposite of addition? Subtraction. And so really kind of looking at it from that terminology might be why I definitely like the colors and I love the characters. I love the monsters. That's just so fun. And kids certainly love looking at that and find great appeal in seeing that.
Yeah, I do love Harry a lot.
Harry, that's great. And so we have this third area that is absolutely important, and that's engaging and interactive. Kate's already mentioned this, their attention level, and not just their attention level, but also really being aware how long they're using any technology, including immersive tech, and especially immersive tech, because sometimes the graphics that they might see is pretty, the graphics are high. And so how much their brain is actually having to take in that stimulation is sometimes a little too intense. And how much they're on it needs to be, very limited. And you need to be aware that like any technology, you just can't overdo anything. But I will tell you that kids love this. As a matter of fact, I brought this out with my niece and my daughter when I first got the book in a couple years ago, I guess. And she started filling out, which is what you're going to see next, these activity books. And that I was like, oh no, what are you doing? I got to bring that with me to conferences. And I was like, wait a minute, that's okay. I mean, people are used to seeing kid work, right? Like, go ahead, that's perfect. So she started filling out some of the pages and doing some of the activities on her own because she wanted to. She was drawn to want to get in there and start being, not just seeing the AR, not just seeing the VR, not just hearing it and going through this experience. She actually wanted to engage in those activity books, which I think is one of the best parts about having disruptED, because it isn't just saying, hey, you're on your own after the AR, VR, but instead it's actually tying in the very concepts that they're learning about and really helping the students look at her. She's so at it. She just went right for it. So she went in and started grabbing stickers and started using the stickers. And I was like, okay, let's go with this. But it was perfect because I got to see a student actually want to use a product, not because I'm telling them to, but actually seeing them take the initiative to want to get in and play. What have you found with your activity books, Kate?
Yeah, you know, we started off putting this kit out there and wanted consumers and parents to be the ones who are attracted to this. Well, we got a lot of feedback from teachers. It's like, hey, you know, we love what you're doing. We love these kits, and we love that you've done more than one book and things like that. And I know you're probably going to talk about the teacher guides next and stuff, but we went back to the drawing board after we got so much feedback from teachers, and created something special for them too.
Well, and as you notice here on this page, not only do they actually have activity books associated with the content that they're reading, but they also have activities built in to the app. So those activities are aligned.
Can I make with a star?
This is where I stopped you last time.
The night sky. Whoa, make a wish.
So you're going to see now I select activity down at the bottom, and it's going to start having me select stars. And so for our beginner learner that's going to only have the option of seeing those stars, that's going to be pretty easy. And it's going through a timer, and man, I hit it. I got my 10. So now we're going to go to that next level. So it goes through these levels and starts helping them differentiate between some of these shapes. And so they're making sure that they're only selecting those stars. And as it's going through, they're selecting, and it's giving them a timer, which is always great for kids because they love being challenged, right? They like the challenge of like, oh, how much can I get? And I have a timer, I got to get this down. So that engagement and also the challenge involved with it. And so it then pulls in some of those other shapes that they've already seen on some of the other pages and helps them then make the connection. So while the activity is not AR, VR, it's also part of the whole package. Yes, they're going in and learning about their shapes inside of the activity book and aligning it and coloring and doing the activities associated with it. Yes, they're going in and seeing this and it being read to them and those shapes coming to life in augmented reality around them. Yes, yeah. They're actually going through and seeing those shapes all around them in virtual reality, but then they get to go in and do something that's customized for them. Those activities and of engagement that actually takes that knowledge and put it into practice with action.
Yes, and in each one of our activity books, we like to do something interesting and throw something interesting in there. So what happened in the end at the back of our activity book for shapes are plans. So you can cut out and make your own robot. You can cut out and make your own 3D rocket ship. So they've learned what a rocket ship is and what it can do in 3 dimensions, and then they get to build one, okay, with their parents or their educators, and they can cut it up and glue it together. In the ABC, we did some sign language. Why not, right?
I love that one. I love sign language.
Yeah, and in Monster Opposites, we have a happy, sad opposite, and we put together some social emotional little exercises and things like that for them. So, you know, we just like to throw a little something in there that changes things up and kind of is something that a parent or an educator can use to have fun with and try something, building upon the program that we're creating, you know?
And I'm already looking at the time saying I'm already going over. So I'm going to go through this content pretty quick. Now this is so true. Content is king. So anything that you want to have access to in immersive technology, whenever you actually have the content with what you're actually learning, that is going to just be a huge piece in using the tools effectively and having access. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest here. I never looked at those books until I had to for TCEA this past year at a conference. We were including a page of that for everybody that came through the stations and played in this immersive experience. And so it wasn't until I went in, and I remember getting back in touch with Kate, and I was like, this is amazing, Kate. She's like, yeah, you didn't already know about this stuff? I'm like, no, I didn't know. But it really is phenomenal. You get to go in here and the lesson plans are all set up for you. The activities in the activity book really make that connection now. And what they're learning in those books in AR and VR actually align. So there's going to be activities in here that don't include AR, VR. There's going to be activities when they do include AR and VR in your lesson plans. And it really ties all those pieces together. So while you're bringing this product in there, you have purpose, you have a plan, you have objectives, you have standards. All of that is included as you're going through with that teacher curriculum. And it's just, it's really, really rich. And I loved doing the activities. So they really took the time. Now, dun, 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 this is my favorite part. I'm really excited because you guys get to see something that nobody else has seen yet. You're the first. You 64 people on here right now get to see this for the first time. The Be Safe initiative that has went out and really been a spark of inspiration, because this has been something that has been on Kate's heart for quite some time. But the Be Safe perfectly aligned with what our whole world is going through right now and some of the things that our kids are facing, and really taking the scary, fearful experience and a lack of understanding and just the unknowns, and really tying it into something that the kids are going to love. And they're going to be able to use this kind of content that aligns to their content, to their curriculum. Yes, they're learning, but they're also aligned with that art aspect and the language arts aspect and the writing part of it and the math part of it. All of those things all perfectly aligned, as well as the curriculum aligned with Be Safe. And I just love, love, love the mask. That's going to be something that you guys are going to want to have later, because it's a special mask. You'll see, you'll see. I can't say much more about it right now because it's still part of the secret, but you guys get to actually right now in the app that you downloaded, you get to see this come into play, into action right now. So scan that page, guys, and see what happens. You might get a little bit, this might be a surprise if you're not used to seeing this kind of activity, but you should be able to see this virus go all the way around the room, giving you some ideas, some inspiration, some fun. You're going to see it all happen and take place all around you. Now, keep in mind, we talked a little bit about the AR kit, and where AR kit takes place in AR Core with Android devices. And using this does require a compatible device, but most of our devices today are really starting to see that compatibility. But if you have an older device that's not functioning with it, keep in mind there's a reason why. It does require the newer technology that really has kind of taken place in the past 5 years. And so those newer devices in the past 5 years that will utilize some of this, just know that if you don't have it, that might be why you're not able to see it. But otherwise, you should see this virus going all around you right now, and how you're going to handle it and how you're going to be safe. Kate, do you want to share a little bit? Because I know that we're so past and we have to give winners and stuff, but I just want to give you a second to talk about it.
Talk about Be Safe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we're so excited. We updated our platform to be able to do AR Kit and AR Core, and it has just upped our game, upped our level so much. So you no longer have to be tethered to the books, and but you use them as a trigger, and then it comes to life even better. And to be able to see these viruses in AR floating around you and touching them and learning about the science of a virus as much as you would feel in VR is super exciting to us. And I think it's super exciting to see the kids' reaction to some of the tests that we've done, and how much they love the farting and burping. That's all I can say.
I can imagine. And you'd think it would be the boys, but I think the girls love it just as much. It's just too fun.
True that.
So awesome. Yeah, this is great. And you guys get to be the first ones to check it out. And I will tell you on the website, and you'll get this linked as well on the follow-up email, but on the website, you have access to download the book, the digital book, for free. So this Be Safe book is awesome. Your kids are going to love it. The app is free. you can go in here and you can explore. So as this is being rolled out, really in the next couple of weeks, they're going to have the full package really ready to go. So it's going to be an exciting time with this Be Safe product going out, and you're going to definitely want to check it out. And if it's something that you're wanting to have in the physical book, that's going to be available. You can pre-order that right now and have access to that as well. So Kate is just, I mean, it's just been really cool. And, you know, this is a chance for you to go check them out, disruptedx.com, and you'll have a chance to go in and learn so much more about what they're doing, what they offer, and how to bring this into your school, make this available for your kids, and really get them enjoying and learning as well. All right, we're ready to go because, you know, first off, Starlight, again, I just want to mention one more time, this is where you can go. Hopefully you can see the link here. It is bit.ly/Starlight VR. So if you go there, that's a specific link for what we're doing tonight, and it will give you a chance to go out and support this amazing initiative that they have going on for our seriously ill kids all around the world. So I know this is specifically for US, but just realize you don't have to get sunk in this. This is just so much information, but that's okay, because you can always go back to arvrandedu.com where you can find me. You can find me on social at Jamie Donnelly, and definitely stay connected. So hopefully this will give you a chance to have access to all the resources that have already been covered tonight, plus many, many, many more, and being part of the community to connect and learn together. So we're right at 98 people right now, or 98 in the chat right now. So I have not been able to see that chat at all. I can imagine you guys are having some great conversations. I love it. But out of the 44 people on here right now, this is going to give you a chance to win some prizes, because this is the kit that's going to come out from Kate. You're going to get that starter kit that includes, of course, downloading the free app. Hopefully you already have that. Also those 3 different books that we went through for you to be able to go in and explore, as well as that cardboard headset for you to use, and those 3 activity books. And what Kate has done is she said, you know what, let's just give them the digital copy of the curriculum for all 3 books for whoever wins as well. And because there's 5 of you that get to win, you get all of that crazy awesome content that, again, surprisingly for me, because I didn't put a whole lot into it because I'm all about the AR VR, right? When I got to go in and play with it, you guys are just going to absolutely love the content that's out there. It's truly the gold in the product. So this will give you a chance to have access, and hopefully Will, I'm putting a lot of pressure on Will right now, but I want to see if Will has had a chance to give us any winners here. What do you think, Will?
All right. Well, the Twitter's been going crazy. I've been trying to retweet. I've been trying to like. I've been commenting to people. Thank you, everybody that reached in and tweeted and supported us. We appreciate that. Now, we didn't talk about a process for selecting winners, and we have dozens of tweets at this point. Yeah. So I'm going to randomly scroll and tap one, and that'll be our first winner. How about that?
That sounds great to me. So you get to choose 5. So
I got 5 fingers. We got this is going to be awesome. Well, I think Ahmed El Nagar.
Yes.
At Anamed 2022 needs to get one.
Awesome. Good job, Ahmed.
I think Debbie Dornier needs to get
one. Very cool.
I think Linda Edwards has been tweeting more than Twitter itself. So Linda Edwards, thank you so much.
That does not surprise me. Linda's a rock star.
Has she broken Twitter yet?
Right? She's hard to keep up with. Mrs. Bateman needs to get a kit too. And last but not least, how about Jenny Lucier?
Ooh, Jenny, awesome. Yay, you guys that have joined in and shared. You guys are amazing. Don't forget to connect with each other with all the content that was covered tonight. Don't worry, we're going to follow up with you. You'll have access to everything. And don't forget to support Starlight, because they're just a great foundation, and the things that they're doing are just phenomenal. So we're so thankful that they provided an opportunity like this to learn and to grow together. And all of you that have been called out, I got it on recording, so they can't say, no, we never said we're going to give out prizes.
We would never.
I got it on recording. They will follow up with you and connect with you on social media. So make sure to follow them so that they can get your information and ship that out to you, hopefully within a week, and give you guys all a chance to learn and stay connected and grow. Thank you all so much for joining in tonight. Kate and Will, thank you guys for joining in and sharing your amazing product.
Not a problem. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Jamie.
Jamie.
It's always a pleasure.
An amazing job as usual. You're a champion. You're as somebody has said in the chat, a rock star as usual. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all for joining, and we'll connect again next week for the AR/VR. By the way, Katrina's on. She's moderating, helping to moderate the chat next week on Narrator AR. So make sure to join in the chat on Twitter at 8 p.m. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night.